Welcome to The Conspiracy Show. My name is Richard Sarat. Bigfoot, also known as Sasquatch, is an ape-like creature that purportedly inhabits forests, mainly in the Pacific Northwest region of North America. Although there have been recorded sightings in nearly almost every U.S. state and most Canadian provinces. Bigfoot is usually described as a large, hairy, bipedal humanoid. Eyewitnesses describe this creature as being between 6 and 10 feet tall, weighing in excess of 500 pounds. Scientists discount the existence of Bigfoot and consider it to be a combination of folklore, misidentification, and hoax, rather than a living animal, in part because of the large numbers thought necessary to maintain a breeding population. On this episode of The Conspiracy Show, Bigfoot, fact or fiction? We're about to meet several cryptozoologists who maintain there is a mountain of physical evidence found every month in various areas across the country. Distinct tracks that do not match other animal tracks, hairs that match each other but no known wild animals, and large scats that could not be made by any known species are all physical evidence. And of course, there is the Patterson Bigfoot film. Among Bigfoot researchers, it is definite proof. Among skeptics, a clever hoax. Me? I just want the truth, and I'm willing to follow it wherever it leads. Friends, it is time to redefine reality.
A little ways away from me, we hear the screamer, screaming his head off, and he's coming down a dirt road. That's it, the chance of a lifetime. So I plunge into the darkness. Well, I didn't expect it to be as close to me as it was. Couldn't see much, but what I did see was this had 2 arms, 2 legs, a head, and a body, and looked very typical Sasquatch. It had no neck, it was big, had to be 9 feet at least, or more.
Suddenly seeing it, I'd get out my camcorder and start rolling tape, but you never know what you're going to do. You might just panic and run away.
Dr. Rule, how did Sasquatch or Bigfoot first come into North American consciousness?
Well, we have a number of legends regarding Sasquatch from the Indians, but one that I'm really impressed with is from 1888 in Humboldt County, when a rancher was taken by Indians to a hut and shown what was called a crazy bear. And this sounds like your typical Sasquatch. And they claimed that it was dropped from a moon that descended. And I've argued that there's a possibility that at least some Bigfoot creatures could be alien entities. Part of the, let's say, credibility is that they vary from region to region, just as other species do. For example, we have the Yowie down in Australia, which is actually shorter than a typical man, but very heavy set. Then we have others like the Yosemite in Guatemala, Magoi in Bhutan, of course the most famous, the Yeti up in Tibet, and then in Russia it's the Almasti, the Yeren in China, and in Africa the Ufiti, just to name a few. And of course, the Skunk Ape down in South Florida. So in every area of the world, there are these creatures described, but they vary from one to the other in terms of the coloration of their fur, and of course their size and their behavior.
There's a consistency, actually, from the various nations and the various tribes around North America. And they all talk about a mysterious creature that lurks in the woods. And a few of them attribute frightening stories to some of them, but I think a lot of that was just a way of controlling the kids. You know, don't go into the woods by yourself.
And I snapped awake. It woke me up. It was so powerful. I said, wow, that was, one of those dreams, just like real. But then I could still hear these footfalls, maybe 50 foot, 60 foot out in front of me, kind of clearing, but right on the edge of the brush. And I saw a huge black mass walking in front. There's one famous case with this Osman, this German guy that was kidnapped in his sleeping bag at night in Northern California, Washington, I think it was. And, but you know, didn't hurt him at all.
People in Bhutan, they said the Magoi has actually kidnapped female. I'm a little suspicious of this, that this is an exaggeration, but the fact that we have report after report from around the globe argues that these creatures may well exist.
Let me get you to comment on the Patterson film. It's probably been the most scrutinized piece of film since the Zapruder film.
Yeah.
What do you see when you look at that footage?
What I see there is incomprehensible, man. I stayed out of that whole milieu almost from the beginning because everybody and his uncle was on top of it. And I knew all the people involved. I was even contacted at one point by a detective who claimed he had definite proof it was all a hoax.
That film's been analyzed and looked at by, as you know, so many people and worldwide, all over the place. And everybody's got their own interpretation what it is. And that's what really put it on the map.
Now, when I went to the location, there was a Sasquatch there, no question about it. One of the tracks I have here was from that area. There's no question.
Baker, who used to make all the gorilla costumes back then, it was said then, had one of his top associates analyze it, said at that time, if that was a costume, it would have cost like $10,000.
I'm not 100% convinced, but this made me more convinced to show that it had several different muscle groups that a costume simply would not have. Plus the idea that this was an entity that appeared to have breasts suggesting it was a female. Well, someone creating a fake Bigfoot would not have had the access to create this type of a costume.
My reaction when I see the Patterson film is very much that of a Smithsonian expert who, the first time he saw it, said famously, "I can't see the zipper." I think we're not looking at Bigfoot. We're looking at Big Suit. And I happen to know the man who sold that suit to Roger Patterson, along with some extra material so Roger could alter a gorilla suit and make it into a Bigfoot suit.
In computer enhanced, you can see the breast. You can see there's patches of skin, you know, and it's not like a regular costume like these, you know, even now, you know, I mean, they can probably get pretty close, but 1967 is crazy.
Now today, as opposed to Patterson, who didn't have CG or computer-generated effects that he could utilize, today you can fake photos, whether it be a Bigfoot or a Loch Ness Monster or a UFO, but that same technology is also advanced to the state where it can detect the CGI effects.
The suit seller is a man named Phil Morris. He owns maybe America's largest costume manufactory. And he says that Roger ordered one of his gorilla suits, which were very common, very popular way back. And he ordered some extra synthetic fur. And of course, people are very impressed that this animal is a female and has these large pendulous breasts. And people say, oh, no hoaxer could fake that. You could if you had some extra fur.
Up in Washington in 1981, Tom and I were in the middle of a sighting hotbed, right? We had a plan. Tom was going to do my flank. He was going to stay at one side. Pardon the gestures, but I get so excited when I talk about it. Anyway, so I'm hiding off in a location in a remote place in an alcove near a spot that Bigfoot had been seen, right? I'm bristling. I have cameras and tape recorders and everything, and I'm waiting.
We see a big, huge black shadow. You can hear the footfalls, something crashing through the brush.
And this particular creature liked to scream.
And we heard this thing start screaming. And this when the thing yells, oh my God, it sounds like an elephant, just powerful. 1, 2 in the morning, we heard this thing screaming, and Peter said, hey, let's go after this thing. So I had this light, and he's behind me, he's trying to get it on film.
And I rush into the darkness, but I didn't expect it to be standing right there. I went,
And the thing was right in front of the road. So I'm getting the light, I go back, ready, hit the spotlight. When that light went on, midway through the scream, stopped.
It leapt from the road and went right past Tom. crackling the woods and the tree limbs.
Within, I don't know, 5 seconds, you hear the scream a half a mile behind us. So the next morning, you know, of course, woke Peter up and everything. And next morning, they had their experiences too. We checked out the whole campground, but the ground is really rock and hard. We found one print halfway in the creek and half out. Like it stepped right on the edge of the water, and you could see the toes that went in by this sand.
We ourselves did not find the Bigfoot footprint. As I said, we had the one group brought us the footprint. We had other people calling us, and we were interviewing a number of those who claimed they had sighted Bigfoot.
This is an exact duplicate of the actual print that is in this picture.
The Bigfoot stories are riddled with hoaxes. I mean, just riddled with hoaxes. People in Bigfoot suits, people making fake tracks, and we now have a lot of confessions of a lot of very credible people that this has happened.
Tom, of course, the skeptics always bring up this point. After all these years, why have we never found the body of Sasquatch? Why hasn't one been hit by, I don't know, a logging truck? Habeas corpus.
Somebody's driving on some lonely highway, and some creature would run across the road, and they jump across the road, just like an athlete, Olympic athlete, boom. So their ability is probably to get hit or an accident. And then you take the other aspect of it, that attuned and that psychic in a way, and intuitive, they're gonna know when humans are even in the area and where they should go and sense and feel that presence there, particularly if there's hunters in the area as well.
If there are certain abilities they possess, telepathy, then they are not easily trapped. They're not easily taken by surprise.
First of all, if this is an intelligent creature, it may drag off its dead.
Who knows? They could have some cave where they take them or something like their own type of ritual, primitive ritual that they do, you know.
But we have no fossil record. We have fossil records for other animals. Bigfoot is just sort of out there for all the world like an imaginary creature.
After all your years of research, have you arrived at any conclusions as to what this creature might be?
That's still a question. We don't know, but I think both of us were leaning more towards a separate type of creature, this physical one. And 30 years ago in Texas, some archaeologists were uncovering some brontosaurus tracks, dinosaur track. And they found a big 5-toed track like that in the middle of one of the brontosaurus tracks. You know, it wasn't popularized very much, of course, and all fossilized. So were these things, still existing that time? We don't think it's like a connection to another ape or a Gigantopithecus, or it's just something totally separate.
It could also be true that not only are they natural to our planet, but some have been brought here by E.T. In 1973, a woman, Riafa Heightfield, who was in a trailer in Cincinnati, Ohio, she looked out the window and saw what appeared to be a Bigfoot creature beside a UFO.
And then I had a UFO sighting at the same house, and it was close to me. And I remember some kind of an exchange happening. And remember, I was just a child, and I no fear, no anxiety from it. I just stood and looked and like, how are you? That kind of thing. But then I just walked in the house, opened the door, went upstairs, and went back to bed.
So there are a few possibilities here that some Bigfoot creatures are intelligent entities that man UFOs, or perhaps an other type of entity, an alien, is dropping off the Bigfoot creatures as guinea pigs to test out our environment, or perhaps these are even criminals or other individuals who are being subjected to cosmological deportation on our planet.
Then there's this third type that seems like very paranormal. And the third type is closely, which Peter was the one who actually brought it up, could tell him, attributed that this is one closest associated to ETs or UFOs. Because every time there's UFO sightings around, there'd be some of these creatures around.
A psychic ability that this creature seems to have. It can avoid detection, perhaps, this way.
I'm open to the idea that telepathy exists in general. And we have a number of apparent, well-documented cases. With regard to Bigfoot, I haven't seen evidence that will convince me that he's telepathic.
There was always a message in there. It was like these creatures were there and they were looking at us and they were saying, no, leave us alone. But this was basically the psychic or inward impression most of us had was, leave us alone. You know, I picked up something from Bigfoot that was so wonderful. I can't explain it, but it was sad. It was morose. They feel bad. They're hurting. And they're not running around causing havoc. They're not hurting people, and they won't. In spite of their size, they're gentle. If you walked up to them, what they would probably do, just hug you. I'm serious, and I know because I've been next to one. I talked to a forest ranger. He was out hunting, and one was coming down the slope of a mountain, and he raised his rifle, but he got weak all of a sudden, and he said, I couldn't lift my rifle. The creature comes right down in front of him, just looks at him, turns, and runs back up this 1,000-foot slope without breathing heavy.
We have the reports that the Bigfoot creatures, wherever they are, tend to avoid humans. In fact, one idea is that they're perhaps intelligent creatures and are, let's say, taking refuge in the higher altitude, such as in the mountainous area, waiting for humans to destroy themselves, which time they'll descend and assume dominance.
Tom and I talked about it for a long time, and there were other things in that location that further verified this idea that, wait a minute, we're not dealing here with a knuckle-chewing ape hiding in a leafy alcove just waiting for somebody to scare.
Another interesting thing, it seems like wherever there's a lot of UFO sightings or Bigfoot sightings, paranormal sightings, there's like portals around, or where the telluric or ley lines, of the Earth's magnetic field, maybe cross somehow and they warp the time and space in there. And maybe they're popping in and popping out, and makes maybe a theory is maybe a doorway, a little open doorway between dimensions that way.
Many of the researchers just can't accept this idea. They want it to be an ape.
They're discovering new species almost every week. The biodiversity is beyond imagination.
Well, it's true that science occasionally finds a rare creature that maybe was thought to be extinct but isn't. Makes sense that if we had some really remote areas, Bigfoot might be there, but I've gone down to Pennsylvania and in a park area, there's a report of Bigfoot. Turns out that was probably a mangy bear.
Would you be in support of shooting and killing one of these creatures if necessary in order to at least prove their existence?
Shooting one, I mean, they're not harming anybody. I could see if they harm somebody, if they killed them, there's a possible evidence, like some elephant that went crazy or some cougar escaped from a zoo. But to prove it by killing one, myself personally, I don't agree.
You don't kill Bigfoot. Don't even attempt it. They are not harmful. They won't hurt you. If you see one, stand your ground. They're not gonna, pummel you like so many pickup sticks or something. I mean, they might even communicate with you in some way. Don't lose that data if there's a chance.
I don't want to kill it, but I hope we would be able to tranquilize it as we do with bears. Take it to a lab, study it, also, videotape, show it to the world, proving that it exists, and perhaps after 6 months, re-releasing it. But I'm against killing him, but I want him tranquilized.
Both scientists and Bigfoot believers agree that many of the sightings are hoaxes or misidentified animals. Cryptozoologists Lauren Coleman and Diane Stocking have estimated that as many as 70 to 80% of sightings are not real. So, what are we to make of the remaining 20 to 30% of sightings? Could Bigfoot be some relic population of a previously believed extinct species of ape, such as Gigantopithecus? There are some problems with this theory. Gigantopithecus fossils are not found in the Americas, and since the only recovered fossils are of jaws and teeth, there is no evidence that this giant ape-like creature was bipedal. While cryptozoologists generally explain Bigfoot as an unknown ape, some believers in Bigfoot attribute the phenomenon to UFOs or other paranormal causes. While the vast majority of evolutionary biologists, anthropologists, and paleontologists completely dismiss the possibility of the existence of Sasquatch, I maintain that the search for Sasquatch is a valid scientific endeavor. To quote famous primatologist Jane Goodall on the existence of Bigfoot, maybe they exist, maybe they don't, but I want them to. And now, I'd like to know what you think. You can contact me here at The Conspiracy Show through the website, www.theconspiracyshow.com. In the meantime, don't be afraid.